There's videos where people aren't even in the video, where they just use software and just to tell you, oh, the fastest way for you to retire, and then all it tells you is the 4% rule, and you'll have to save $10,000 a month if you want to retire in 15 years. You'll have to save $20,000 a month if you want to retire in 10 years. You'll have to save $5,000 a month if you want to retire in 20 years or something like that. But that's somebody else's vision. You see what I'm talking about?
Honey, what's the brush for?
Do you ever catch yourself thinking, am I being too frugal? So I'm gonna brush my shoes probably twice a day. It's so dusty here. It's that dusty. You know,
because we walk a lot.
in the desert. As we walk, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll think about it.
Alright.
Bristles that are not really, they're good. Well, again, a couple months. This one's got more bristles on it.
How's it working out for you?
Well, it's not the brush I would have liked, but it's the best one that was available, in my opinion. The one thing that will hurt your quest for having that lifestyle that you desire, and there's a lot of things that you can do to sabotage your plans. In this day and age, it's almost literally impossible to come up with something completely 100% original. And so it's not like you haven't heard it, but I'll tell you this, it isn't really talked about much because most people don't want to admit it. And actually, when you look at the literature, everybody's doing this. It's like, you know, you go on social media and you see it all over the place. And it's one of those things that it's so hard to get away from nowadays just because of the information age. There's so much sameness because, again, it goes back to the lack of originality because there's so many people talking about a subject. It's literally gets watered down and things just become repetitive. And when things become repetitive over a period of time, they become cliches or mantras or established norms, even though maybe they shouldn't be. And it's not like people set out to do this thing on purpose. I don't think it's intentional, but what happens is that the group psychology comes into play, and again, it's because of social media. And I see people that get on there and ask questions. I mean, it gives the appearance that it's just wanting validation, but that's exactly the thing. In seeking that validation, it establishes that one is not really confident with what they're setting out to do. And while that's a whole other subject, which is not the subject of this video, I wanted to focus on that one thing that, foundationally speaking, it's like, I mean, on the one hand, you do want to hear different ways of looking at things and seeing what other people are doing and that kind of thing. But you see where this is going, right? It's little by little. It just reminds me of this post about this person. They had, I won't even tell you the figure, they had so much money and so much stuff going on, and yet they still needed to get some sort of validation that somewhere there's got to be some kind of something I'm missing, you know, or you got to get it just right, perfect. But the thing about doing it just right and perfect, it's according to what everybody else thinks perfection is and what everybody else thinks you should be concerned about. And that's the whole gist of it, is that we're comparing ourselves. We compare ourselves to other people and how they would do things and how they, again, it's just striking a balance there between seeking many counselors. A wise man or woman has many counselors, and making up your own mind and making your own decision and not comparing yourself. Because when we compare ourselves to other people, it gives us that lack of confidence, and that's where that lack of confidence a lot of times comes from. is to say, well, you know, am I doing this just right like you would do it? You know, it's like I was talking to a fellow just the other day. He's got a nice idea. It's not just an idea, I mean, he's got a business that he does on the side, but he doesn't spend enough time on it because he's still working a job and he's got all these commitments. Of course he does, because he's got a family and all this. My point is that he's not, for one reason or another, he's not able to stay focused. And we're talking to him, and he hears that we've been to Italy and to Europe and here and there, and here we are doing it. And his eyes light up, and you could just see that it reminds me of me 20 years ago when you were just starry-eyed and wanting to wish you could travel the world and do these things that you want to do and live your life, and you're not doing them because we compare ourselves to other people. It's not laid out in our plate that way. It doesn't lay out with, oh, I think I'm going to compare myself to somebody today. It lays out in the way that I've just described, in all of the things that we do that cause us to lack confidence in our plans. And it's real. It's a real issue that really needs to be addressed seriously, because the lack of confidence has many spokes attacking it. You're getting attacked from different sides, and the side we're talking about today is the comparison game that people do, where they, you're told, and I see this now, there's videos where people aren't even in the video, where they just use software and just to tell you, oh, the fastest way for you to retire, and then all it tells you is the 4% rule, and you'll have to save $10,000 a month if you want to retire in 15 years. You'll have to save $20,000 a month if you want to retire in 10 years. You'll have to save $5,000 a month if you want to retire in 20 years or something like that. But that's somebody else's vision. You see what I'm talking about? And so the principle comes to mind that when you're going to endeavor on something, if you wait until everything is absolutely perfect, guess what's going to happen? You will never get started, because there's always some reason why you can't get started yet. Not yet. Not just yet. You're not ready. Gotta compare ourselves to all these other people and what they say and how it should be done. Would you rather hire a panel of experts to tell you how to jump in the water when it's cold, knowing that it's cold? There's got to be a special way and a professional way of doing it. Would you rather hire a panel of experts and wait until they all write up a report and tell you exactly how it should be done? Or do you want to just come over here and tippy-toe in the water and see how far you can go? And if it's too cold, you can back out. You can back out. Hola, hola, hola. I like seeing the police patrols. And so if you need to back out, you can back out and say, well, that was colder than I expected. And lo and behold, when you go back in, the second time around, your skin isn't quite as shocked, and you can go a little deeper. You know what I'm talking about. And pretty soon you're out there swimming. Or you might say, well, it must not be the season. I better go get a wetsuit. But if you sit out there contemplating, thinking, and working towards it, and asking and waiting for everyone's approval, and comparing yourself to how everybody else would do it, and just trying to get it just right, your life passes you by, and we don't want that, and I don't want that for you. And even though a lot of people that have gone to Ecuador have left Ecuador, at least they have the experience that they'll always have with them, that they went to this foreign country and they lived there. And it'll be something that'll always stay with them, that they can talk about to their children and grandchildren. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for coming to the channel. Have a wonderful day.